All right, welcome back to another Right Stew podcast. I'm Paul Stewart.
And I am Brian Wright, and I think this is Sunday. It's been a minute since we've been able to get together. A lot of life events.
Life is happening. And,
Yes,
and Brian and I you can see Brian is not in home office studio. He's
home
in
office and
hotel studio.
hotel studio.
The,
And Paulie, your hair, man, it's looking good, dude. You
I
got the
got a
slick back,
haircut.
dude. It's getting, dude. It looks great.
I
Looks
threw some
great.
water in it a second ago. We had some Mother's Day card issues going on here. I said this is to grandma and this is to mom, and I got them mixed up. One very clearly says grandma. You know what? Before that, Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Without them, we wouldn't be here, Brian.
I was thinking that's the reason we're good at this, or at least maybe not good at. I enjoy it because I was literally thinking the exact same thing. We would not be here without them.
Yeah, so Happy Mother's Day, a special Happy Mother's Day to each of our moms. Brian, what was your mom like during your high school playing days into your college and pro? Did she know sports? Was she like stressed out about stuff, or was she one of the moms who was just kind of like, oh, well, little Brian did well today? Or
He was definitely new sports.
okay,
But I definitely got kind of my half glass full attitude. The kind of the hey, it's going to work out demeanor. It's going to be okay. Um, from her. I mean,
okay,
so she was very much hey, it's going to work out. It's going to. She was never a yeller. She was never a delusional mom either. When it comes to like, never a bragging mom. At least not to that I'm aware of. Just very much a mom that was an encourager, but was also like, hey, um, hey, there's better days ahead if you're having a bad day, and yeah, it was
yeah.
very much the kind of mom that you want. I mean, again, didn't try to make it about her, right? It was always just about her boys, and she did a really good job with that, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. My mom very similar, very very supportive. Always wanted what was best for me for sure, and that sort of thing. So always, I remember being. I don't want to say she was at every game, but I think she made every effort to be at most games. My dad helped coach a lot as well, so he was at a lot of our games. But so it was me and my brother, just like you. We had I guess now I'd consider it a smallish family, right? Just two kids, but mom was always got the minivan, got in on the minivan early, and it was hauling us around. And we didn't do as much what we call travel as back in the day, but she was always had a hot meal or a snack or something going on for us. And yeah, it's a crazy life, man, when you've got kids playing multiple sports and multiple seasons and that sort of thing. So we appreciate our moms and then all the moms out there who are making it work, and to our wives as well, who are clearly moms as well. They do a lot to make sure our kids are uniform. I say we share some of the laundry load, right? But make sure uniforms are clean. I hate to be kind of sexist with that regard, but that same sort of thing. Make sure I know my wife is just I am glad she takes control of the calendar. We've got one master calendar at home, and she organizes that and color codes it, and that is kind of how I live my life, just seeing that every morning. So I'm appreciative of that and all the other things she does to make sure our kids get where they need to be and updates me on where they are. And without that, I'd be pretty lost, Brian.
Well, I tell you, I would say that is probably one of the. I mean, besides, my wife does a lot of those same things, but the organization is. I don't think, and again, you grew up the same way I did. One brother, you were the older, I was the younger. It didn't feel like the schedules were quite as crazy as ours is. When you got multiple kids doing multiple things, it does feel like there's a lot more planning that's required. There's a lot more just going, a lot more opportunities, even in sports to kind of go travel and do different things. I'm not necessarily know if it's better or worse. It's just different. I think it's probably the better way to look at it.
Yeah.
But it is, yeah, there's no question. I am, again, I think it works for an athlete, but it doesn't, it makes it challenging for life. I'm not a look way ahead guy. Hey, today is game day. Let's get to this game day. Let's not worry so much about tomorrow's game day. And it's kind of the biblical, phrase, hey, tomorrow will take care of itself. And today's, is here,
Pure,
and the
pure joy.
past is the
Yeah,
past.
yeah. Consider. Yeah. Oh, that's a different one. But yeah, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow, today has enough troubles of its own. Yeah. So
Yeah, so
focus on.
I think that's a very good athlete mindset, but you got to plan some, and I'm not
There's got
great
to
at
be some
that.
foresight. Yeah, definitely
Yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
foresight. So thank you to both of our wives for making sure that Brian and I are on schedule and are where we need to be most of the time. Most of the time we make it. So, Brian, some baseball going on, some hockey, some basketball. Hurricanes up 2 games to 1. They won a game here in Raleigh. Exciting time. So, shut out the Caps 4-0. Big win yesterday. The story I kind of wanted to touch on first and talk about Rafeal Devers. So let's go ahead and mention it, Brian. Your favorite show, The Clubhouse. We both have seen the totality of that now, and our friend Tristan Cassis, who was pretty well featured, probably second behind Jaron Duran, I would say, on the show.
Good personality, kind of
Uh,
entertaining kid or
yeah,
young man, but yeah,
but is injured now and out for the year, and so they're kind of platooning at first base. Alex Bregman, who has been brought in for this season, was not featured on that show, has kind of taken over third base duties for the Boston Red Sox, which is where Rafeal Devers had played for the past 8 seasons. And so ownership, leadership said, hey, Rafi, you're going to play DH. And I even hesitate to say play DH, but you are going to be our DH. That's going to be your position, quote unquote position. And so now they're trying to move some things around, and they say, "Hey, Rafeal Devers, how about you? Could you learn to play first base? Could you play first base for us? Could you get over there so we can kind of move some things around and make the lineup a little better?" And he basically said no. And he said, "Hey, you guys told me I was going to be a DH. That's my position, and I'm not playing for don't I don't expect to learn a new position." During the middle of the season at the highest level, all this kind of stuff. I've got some thoughts, Brian. I want to hear what you've got to say about it.
well, we spoke on this a little bit. If we could have done our podcast a night or two ago, this would have definitely. But I vividly remember us talking about this, and the first thing that comes to mind is a couple of things. First of all, DH is part of being a baseball player. It's part of hitting. And so, do you have to do things differently to be a DH as far as to keep yourself ready and kind of develop a different routine, probably to be successful? I'm sure they're hitting in the tunnels in between innings and trying
Yeah,
to figure out what works best. And, it is different, right, for anybody who's done it. But, the natural transition from third base to first base is I saw Teixeira do it. He came over, and the Yankees obviously played a lot of first base, DH some. You feel like guys that you're paying this much money to, and especially the general fan was like, dude, I would cut off my arm just to be a part of this team or be on the team if I had this opportunity. And you're complaining and saying that you're not willing to try to play first base. And dude, it does nothing really for him. Right. I'll say this. When we were watching the clubhouse, the only interaction I remember seeing was with him and I think they call him the executive vice president, but basically the GM it didn't feel like he respected.
Oh, Craig Bearslow, he's the
Yeah.
chief baseball officer, I think. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it did not feel like the level of respect was there. And again, you don't know how people are, but it didn't like when you normally like when me and you have a conversation, or if you have a conversation with your boss or superior, you're looking in the eyes, you're engaging.
yeah,
It's there's a level of respect there, and it didn't. That was the first. That's one of the first things I notices whenever they were conversating. It was like, dude, Devers is either really immature or he does not respect this guy. And it may be a bit of both,
and there's a language barrier as well. To be fair,
but they had their interpreter there. It
yeah,
was,
yeah,
I mean, it wasn't like
But that
You
I think
know,
that always makes it a little wonky, right? When you're speaking through an interpreter, you may be looking at the interpreters. Yeah, I mean, I
but
I don't know
I
how
don't know.
to.
There's
Yeah,
something there. I would say
yeah, I hear you though. Yeah.
it doesn't look good on Devers. That's again, can he really hit? No question.
Oh yeah.
Um, can he go play a lot of different places? No question. Is he somebody you want in your clubhouse? Have they ever won with Devers?
Yeah. That's where it kind of gets me to like if I'm another guy on the team, I'm like, dude, we're out here. I mean, it's still super early in the season still, right? But they're a few games back of the Yankees for the East. They're in that wild card mix, right? And I hate to even say wild card now because we're 40 games in, but man, how many guys have for the team changed positions or done something a little different? And I mean, I think it makes you more versatile, right? I mean, I guess he's already got his $300 million contract, so he's like, well, what? But the verbiage he uses, like, you told me there, he was like, you told me I was going to be the DH. That's my position. Like, and he
What
was,
a pompous, spoiled sounding comment that is.
yeah. And then I guess John Henry, the owner, actually flew to Kansas City yesterday or on Friday to have a sit like a one on one with him, like a heart to heart sort of thing. And I don't know if anything. He's DHing. He DH'd again last night. Went 4 for 4. Did pretty well, but I don't know if anything was resolved. But
Let's change it, knowing that, let's change the thought process. If you're in control, number one,
you
would
mean
you
John
trade him?
Henry in control, like owner John Henry control? Okay.
Yeah. Do you trade him? And if you're another team, would you be willing to take him?
So here's the thing, right? How many teams could actually afford that contract? Right? Not many. But if you trade him, you may have to eat some of that contract, which I don't think they would want to do. And again, I don't know who he is in the clubhouse outside of this. This seems like wildly selfish to me. It seems like something I would never do. Like, hey, I'll give it my best shot, right? I mean, and if you were that, because he was fighting pretty hard to stay at third base too over Bregman. Because remember in spring, he's like, that's my position.
Right.
And if you have that much confidence in yourself, I think third base is probably a tougher position than first base.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So would you trade him and would you take him?
I
Just all hypotheticals off as far as not even hypotheticals, not even
I don't think
realities
yeah, I
of
don't think
money
I
and those
would.
sort of things.
I would probably have a couple of conversations with kind of trust people I trust, right? That where it wouldn't get out to the media. Like, hey, what's the interest level, right? I mean, he is a premier hitter in the middle of the lineup kind of guy for
And
any.
probably a lot of teams he can play third base on.
And I'm only talking to National League teams,
Yeah.
realistically. I'm not trading him on in my own league. So I mean, that's probably I limit you to what? The Dodgers, the Mets, the Padres, maybe Phillies. I mean, Phillies are looking for a third baseman right now. That I think they're still trying to come off Alec Bohm. I mean that would be a natural fit there.
So then if you are the Phillies, I think here, and I'll kind of answer some things that what I'm thinking. Number one, I would have those conversations, and I would want to be able to get a feel for what kind of player he is, because I don't think they've won since he's been the guy,
Uh,
right?
I can't remember what they won the series in 17.
Yeah.
I
So I know he was a part of that team, but I don't know if he was the guy on that
No,
team.
I don't
Like
think so.
I know he was a big contributor, but I would say a lot of times, man, your leadership comes from your best player, and you don't necessarily always like that, and it doesn't not necessarily always have to be that. That's just the natural way sports work. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
if your leadership or your best player is kind of an ass, it's hard to win like that. It's hard to win if they're not truly for the team. And once you get to the big leagues, it's about team. Again, you got to
yeah,
make money, and but it's got to be about team. It comes back to not necessarily like little league or but it's got to be about winning. And so I would try to get a feel for what kind of player is he really. And if this is the kind of player he is, I would definitely, like you said, look to trade him.
yeah,
Now, if I was the Phillies and I felt like my culture was set, like he could go to a place like the Phillies, and I would definitely consider him with a place like the Phillies because you got Trey, you got Harper, the culture is set there.
Oh yeah,
And
that is yeah. I mean, that is a veteran team. Like those guys have been around. Yeah,
yeah, and they hadn't necessarily won
Harper,
the
Trey
big
Turner.
game,
Yeah,
but the culture's set. And so if you got a guy that come in and contribute, boom. Now, if it's somewhere else, I don't think I would take him with the Padres. I feel like that culture is not, the establishment and the way they're winning and what they've. Tatis is obviously a really good player. They're doing some things that feel kind of old school, kind of fun. That I don't know. I don't know if the Padres I would be immediately to say yes to,
yeah,
but I would definitely if I was a national league team or a team that he was being shopped to, I would definitely have a conversation and then do my research. But I do think there is something to like again, baseball is different than a lot of other sports because essentially it's one on one that is combined into a team sport. But there is something to be pulling in the right direction. I don't know. It's just I don't
yeah,
want to say baseball gods or any of that kind of stuff because I don't necessarily believe in that. But there's something. If you're a selfish player, you just don't tend to win a lot. Even you go back to Bonds, right? With all the
yeah,
success that he had, he seemed to find a way not to win. And as good as he was for all those years in Pittsburgh, which they haven't won there in a long time, but it really was San Francisco all the years that they were so good they never found a way to win. And I think even some of his closest friends, Jeff Kent, a lot of those guys that were had relationships with him would say he was a selfish player. And I just don't know that selfish wins in the long term. I don't know. And again, I may be completely wrong in that thought process, but
yeah.
I know
Well,
as
it's
a teammate,
interesting.
you said it originally. As a teammate, I wouldn't feel real good about it.
Yeah. What was weird to, and again, going back to the clubhouse show, he is a star on that team. He's
Yes.
like if you go to a Sox game, there's probably more Jason Varitek jerseys than anybody like
Right.
walking around or no. There's probably some Nomar jerseys, but probably a lot of Rafeal Devers jerseys, t-shirt, jersey, whatever it is, floating around the stadium. And like so he's clearly popular, but on that show, and again, maybe he's just not interesting. Maybe it was some of the language, but they talked a ton about Brian Bayo, right? The pitcher.
Well, Bayo was essentially featured.
Yeah. And Devers,
And
he
he
was
just
barely
his
on
first
there.
language is not English.
Yeah. But that really struck me as odd that Devers was barely on the show. Like maybe
But
a couple of interviews. I
I'll
don't
say
know.
this, and it did me to an extent. But if I had made my money, I think about me at 27 years old or 30 years old. Me at 45 is a different kind of mindset. I think it
Yeah.
would be cool to kind of looking back, it'd be cool to kind of track your season that way, to kind of be involved, almost
Yeah.
doing like a video diary of what you were thinking. But me at 27 years old or 30 years old, I'd been like, dude, I ain't trying to do this. I'm trying to play ball. I
Yeah.
can imagine that mindset too.
Yeah, yeah. There's a few different things. Yeah, this is a distraction sort of thing.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
and there's probably a lot of guys like that as well, but um, I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Hey, speaking of distraction, I want to ask you this. There's rumors going around that Bill Belichick's girlfriend has been banned from the UNC football facility.
I saw that. Yeah. Well, no, there was a head. I saw a headline that said she is allowed. Like she's allowed.
Oh, she is allowed. The last one I saw, and again, I've been tied up doing some other things. The last one I saw was she was banned from UNC facilities.
Yeah, I saw that she was allowed, and I don't. Why would they have banned her, Brian? What's the?
I don't know. Maybe she's in there wrecking havoc. I don't know. I mean, here's the deal. If it was your girlfriend and she's banned from the facility, does that have an impact on how you would do your job? I just can't imagine, like,
I don't know because I don't think. uh, Like I mean, I was married. I had a girlfriend and married my whole playing career. Like I don't know. Like she would come to games, but outside of that, there was no.
no influence. I
sh-
mean, it
No.
feels like she's more involved. She has figured out a way to be more involved than maybe a lot of wives that have husbands that have had that level of success. Like she was obviously in that 60 Minutes or whatever that interview that kind of got him caught up and then kind of put him in a weird place. She was there and he was like, she's
Well, I think
obviously my girlfriend and my
she's.
business. She's
I think
involved in business.
yeah, she's technically his like brand manager sort of thing. And so, and I think that was part of it. She's technically not employed by the University of North Carolina, right? She's not yeah, I guess a state employee, right, from UNC Chapel Hill. But she's around and in the facility all the time. And I can see it kind of so I love the Beatles, right? It's kind of like when Yoko is always around, and they're like, well, like why is Yoko here? Like she's not contributing anything positively to this song or whatever it is, right? Feels kind of how it is, but John's like, oh, well, I need her around. She's my girl, that sort of thing. Uh, so
Hey, Polly, I my girl just got back from big dance. I gotta
nice.
cut this a little short, dude. I mean, I know we've got a lot of things to catch up on. Hopefully, we have a good one. We got a big athlete of the week for Monday. I know we got that getting ready to
Got
get
that
rolling.
queued up, but we'll. So you know what? Have an amazing Sunday. Go out, take care of those mamas. Take. Hopefully, you've made reservations and get your gifts done. If you haven't done that, you're in trouble. But enjoy the time with your families, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Out, go pack, go Tigers.